Welcome to a video of Thai Coffee and our mill located in Phrao, Thailand. Thai Coffee is a high-end specialty coffee producer. We produce green bean coffee. Our mill is divided into two processes. First is a wet mill, and we use an Estrada machine out of Colombia. And the second is a dry mill. Now let's start with the wet mill. You can see the coffee starts in that large hopper where it runs up a screw conveyor and then into this pump tank. The pump tank serves two purposes. First, it gives a way for the coffee to be moved up into the top of the machine where gravity moves it down through several different processes ending up in parchment coffee. And the second purpose is a pump tank allows coffee to sort by weight where a floater cherry floats to the top and that product is then skimmed off. That is an undesirable, undeveloped bean, and we don't want that in our coffee. Here's the pulp, but we'll come back to that. First, we're going to go up the ladder and follow the cherries through the machine, being separated into cherry skins and parchment coffee ready for drying. Here you can see the coffee being pumped up in the water. There are the cherries, there's the water. The water recirculates back down into the tank. The cherries get pushed along a screw conveyor with a perforated steel plate. The water falls through the plate. The cherries move on where they are dropped down into the top of the pulping drum. And the pulping drum is just a separator. It tears or cuts the skin away from the bean. And you saw the skins being put into that pile. There's the water going back down into the pump tank. This is a very ecological machine in that it uses just a fraction of the water of a typical fully washed product. Here the pulped coffee is coming down through a screw conveyor and it runs through this rotating drum. This rotating drum is a grate where it separates out undesirable green beans and cherry skins. Here you can see the green cherries and the skins being sorted out. Then the coffee goes down through another screw conveyor and ends up in what is called a mucilager machine. And this device removes a slimy, fruity material that is attached to the bean. You can do that either through fully fermenting the coffee or you can do it mechanically here. For the year 2011, 2012, we did semi-washed coffee. However, for the coming year, we plan on doing a combination of semi-washed, fermented, and honey processed coffee. Here you can see the pulp skins being moved up a screw conveyor where they end up in a pile and get removed. Here is the control panel for the wet mill. Okay, so now we're going to move to the dry mill. The coffee has been dried at this point in time and stored as parchment coffee. We store all of our coffee in this method because parchment coffee is the bean that has a hard shell around it, and the hard shell provides protection against mold, insects, and also helps lock in the moisture content, which is very important to roasters. So when we get an order, we start the process by placing the coffee into a hopper, and here is Bird. He's putting the coffee in a hopper where it runs up an elevator, down a chute, and into a Penalense Huller polisher. The Huller polisher removes the dry skin from the bean. It's a hard shell, very thin, hard shell on the bean. We tied together two processes, hulling and size sorting. So the output from the huller comes down this pipe here where it goes into this elevator. This is where we can inspect the coffee. The huller has several different settings on it so we can get the proper polish on the bean. Then the coffee runs up that elevator, down that chute, where it runs into a Spectrum Industries size sorter. The size sorter is just a large box with a bunch of screens in it with very precise holes in it where it sorts the coffee according to size, and typically in coffee size is designated in 64ths of an inch with 19 plus 64ths being the larger size, and it runs all the way down to 13/64ths. Size sorting is important for several different reasons. First is the next process in our mill is a specific density sorter, and you want to use sizes that are similar so the machine works better. The second reason is roasters certainly prefer coffee with similar sizes, as they'll get a more uniform roast. And the third reason is coffee that's uniform in size is more attractive. So there you can see the output of the machine. Okay, there's Noy. Noy is our factory manager, and you can see he is taking bags of size-sorted coffee where we weigh each bag and keep track of the output. So if we process a ton of coffee, we know exactly how much of each size we're going to get. And then Noy is going to take that coffee over and load it into a hopper for the gravity table. A gravity table sorts coffee according to specific density. And that's important because a heavy bean is a higher quality bean. A heavy bean is going to have richer flavors. A lighter bean is most likely a defective or an undeveloped bean or an insect-infested bean, or it can be a piece or a part of a bean. So you can see the coffee goes into that hopper, down into this elevator, and this is a Spectrum Industries gravity table, or a specific density machine. It's an interesting machine. The top of the table shakes back and forth, and then air is blown up through a perforated grate, and the air lifts the lighter beans, and because the table is shaking, the lighter beans float to the bottom side of the table, and the heavy beans actually move to the top of the table. It works magnificently well, and we are one of the very few mills in Thailand that add this step to the process. But in order to create a specialty grade coffee, rich in flavor, cosmetically appealing, lacking defects, this is an important step. So there you can see the coffee coming out on the left side is a grade AA, size 19. You can see the coffee there doesn't have any pieces. It's all uniform in size. No dark beans, no green beans. That is a very high quality coffee output there. The next part of the process is what we call bulking and bagging. Some of our customers prefer coffee as a single origin. However, some ask us to do special blends for them. And when you do a blended coffee, it's important that each cup contain the precise percentages of the different origins that the customers ask for. Therefore, the coffee needs to be mixed. So what we do is we put it in this hopper here where it runs up an elevator and into a silo, but the silo actually recirculates the coffee back into the elevator, so it's being mixed with new coffee. So it's basically just a big circulating system of coffee going up into the elevator, down a chute, back into the, up into the silo, back down into the elevator, back up into the silo, back into the elevator, and the coffee gets mixed up that way. So we're Thai High Coffee, located here in Phrao, Thailand. We are a producer of high quality specialty coffee. Should you have any questions or concerns, you can find us on the web at www.thaihighcompanies.com. That's THAIHIGHCOMPANIES. We look forward to hearing from you and answering your questions about a very high quality specialty grade coffee.